Hi, everybody. Welcome to this Moonlight stream with Black Spring with Autumn. Hope you guys are doing well out there on your Friday morning or your Thursday morning. Thursday night. Well, actually, it's 12:01 on the West Coast by now. And good 3:01 to you guys on the East Coast. And Central Standard Time at 2:01. And Mountain Time, we'll go with 1:01, perhaps. We'll go with 1:01. Could be wrong, but shout out to everybody. And shout out to the loyal patrons, Derek C. Williams, Killer Whale Channels, The Definition of Anarchy, Chrysler Imperial H, Let the Truth Be Told, Little Miss Goth, Cold War Jesus, and AZ Infidel. I know this is a bit late, but I thought I'd come in anyway because I think this is going to be, I've said this before, that sometimes the later times work better. And you can expect these occasionally. So, and also I'll be making some changes to the schedule. I'll be going to a 1 day a week, but for an extended period of time. So it will be a jam-packed schedule. It'll be a jam-packed program. And but we'll definitely get the work in. And then, of course, the flash streams will still occur as well. So keep an eye on that. And thank you guys so much for the engagement on the videos. Shout out to everybody, loyal patrons, the subscribers, as well as the followers on Periscope. Thank you guys so much. So without too much further ado, I just want to make a couple of statements as, things are getting a little bit wonkier just about every week, it seems. I would say the tides are turning, and in short, ladies and gentlemen, we are witnessing a bit of a transformation. And what I mean by that is, be it auxiliaries or celebrities, politicians, globalists, neighbors, rioters, peaceful, air quotes, protesters. I mean, whether by force or whether by surrender, it's happening. And what I'm referring to by that is that we are witnessing a transformation. And I think this transformation is actually taking place by conditioning. It's not being done. It's not, what do I want to say? It's not exactly the it's not exactly an acute conditioning or transformation. It's actually quite the opposite. It's being done the tactic is fear and tyranny that's getting us to the point. And as I say here all the time, it's not my goal to be Debbie Downer. It's not my goal to be Debbie Downer, but it just seems like that even, you've got reporters and pundits and everyone coming out making comments about what's happening politically, legislatively, and there's tons of gaslighting and fear going on all the time. The media is absolutely nonstop. This is the most agitative, the most combative set of reporters, or what have you. I just don't really call them journalists. I think that they're SJWs that are doubling, that are showing up on the scenes. And we're at a level in which you can't even, when it comes, from what I've seen from the progressives and from some of the agitators, you can't find a level of civility even in a death of someone that they supposedly revered. And this is what I'm talking about when I talk about transformation. The transformation that I'm speaking of speaks to what I call, it's a secular, it's almost more of a secular, a full-on secular nation is what we're being conditioned for. Now, I'm not speaking about specific about evangelicals or Christians, or I'm not speaking about them. It's just that anyone that may have even been a little bit not so religious, or whether they lost their faith via tragedy or some type of human condition. I'm talking about the the people that were not really that attached to anything, but instead they're substituting, those things are being replaced with secular values. You're being subconsciously told how to grieve, what to grieve, what's good, what values are good, and what's not so good, what's not good. And that goes to the, some people might say it's a cultural thing. I mean, there's sociological perspectives here without a doubt, but you have people that, they're not necessarily religious, but they will go out and mourn somebody. They will go out with their feelings, and they will dedicate those feelings and dedicate those emotions just as fervently as somebody that has a religion, that or has a faith, an actual, more of an organized faith. So I'm going to keep going here. So yes, there's lots of the transforming of America is here, ladies and gentlemen. And I've said this before. I'm not convinced that an election is going to get us out of this. I'm just not. I know everybody. It's one thing to be positive, but to be, and I have a tendency to be a little bit cynic, but not death by altruism. Shout out to Old School Wolf, who makes that reference in these times. But I'm saying that I just don't think that a voting box is going to get us out of this. And I'm not sure if that's what it's meant to do, but I know there's morale seems to be high for those who are attending whatever forms of, whatever you choose to do. But I just don't see that that's going to resolve the rioting. It's, we've got a Congress that's gone rogue on the left, and we honestly don't know which way we're going. So with that said, I would like to continue. Shout out to anybody that's in the stream that's made it in for such a late hour. So I'm just saying, just generally, does anyone else notice that we're being conditioned or to conform to beliefs, for better or for worse? And these are not, what I'm saying, these beliefs are not, they're not religious beliefs. It's your whole emotion, the government, you're being dumped into all of these spaces. Shout out to the rapper 10,000. He says, "Hey, it is too late for you." Never too late. We don't say that around here. How are you doing, rapper? Nice to see you. And we're being forced to accept their concept of good versus evil. I mean, what even defines grief? I mean, grief is something that's usually reserved, right? Grief has its the vote booty of the left made tomorrow. The vote booty. I'll look it up. The rapper. I'll give you that much. I'll look it up for sure. I'm not familiar with that, but I will certainly look it up. Thank you so much for coming in and handling the channelytics. And I will tell you, Facebook. I mean, not Facebook, and Facebook as well. But YouTube, they're going to be playing some different reindeer games. I'm from what I hear. Now, this is under the plural of hearsay that by October 1 something's going to happen. I didn't receive that notification. I mean, this is a small potatoes channel, if you can call it that. It's a small potatoes channel. You know, we eat the overhead around here. We do that around here without a doubt. These YouTubers removing Section 230. Ay, ay, ay. Ah, okay, Rapper, you're on it. Okay, so we're all going to be liable for our own da-da-da. Okay, so looks like we're being, that was a digression, but the Rapper's always helpful. Thanks so much for coming in. Now, we're being forced to accept their concept, as I said, of good versus evil values when it comes to many things. When it comes to rather, who should go to jail, who should be, shot. I mean, it's like they're redoing everything. But it's done to their standard. It's not being done to anything. We're going against history. We're even going against logic on many of these things, many of these issues. We're going against logic. We're going against the laws. Like, my gosh, where is the Constitution? Is it really that elusive, America? And that's why I'm saying, I don't know what the founders envisioned in terms of 2020 for the calendar year. What calendar were they using? The Roman calendar? What calendar were they using? But you've got one group. The rogue group is the one that's always touting that they're some type of custodians or some type of guardians of the Constitution, yet everything they do is anti-constitutional. In fact, I wanted to add that, listen to Speaker Pelosi today. Ay, ay, ay. And of course, and speaking of that, we're talking about death and survivorship, and it's always gloom and doom with those liberals and with the Democrats. It's almost like they are literally paid to keep things gloom and doom. It's a dependency party. They need you to be dependent on them. They need you to believe what they say, whether they do a convincing job or not. And yeah, so Pelosi comes out virtue signaling and carrying on about Ginsburg she's a family member to those Americans. Here again, this is what I'm speaking to. She's a family member to those who are either they don't really have any unifying ties. They don't have any values. Their values are what the government can do for them and how the government can make everything all right. They have faith in the government. They have faith in SJW judges. They have faith in SJW priests. They have faith in, SJWs. And in fact, she's their secular martyr. We got martyrs. We've got a hierarchy of martyrs. We go from justice martyrs to criminal martyrs. And you talk about transformation. That's a hell of a transformation. You can't be an innocent human being. You gotta have a record, or you have to have done something horrible and heinous and get your name on a football helmet or on the back of a shirt. You have to have presented yourself to society as a threat. But never mind what kind of threat or how severe a threat you got to be. That's how you get to be, a leader. right? So this is what I'm talking about. It's demented, it's twisted, it's sick, but it's a transformation. And so with the confluence of everything that's going on between the corona, da 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 da, the rioting in the streets, you've got it's enough. It's the conditions are right for a transformation, because what happens when you pervert things, when you pervert things, confusion comes out of it, and what comes out of confusion? Deception. When you're confused, it's a lot easier to be deceived. Just look at it. If a flip-flopping CDC, what is there? Another doctor on the loose. It seems to be making the vaccines have been ramped up, which is a serious issue for me. And the American public is just I'm start the hypocrisy is not just on the left, ladies and gentlemen. And if that sears some people, you know, grab your Neosporin, because I'm thinking I've heard tons of people say that they are not interested in these vaccines, but we're not trying the vaccines in the court of public opinion. We're not doing that. We're saying what we don't want, but we're not talking. It's not getting to the people. We're not taking to the streets like some of these other people are doing. They're taken to the streets for choices that other people have made. Good or bad choices. Making bad choices as a grown-up. So yeah, let me get back to, that was a digression, but let me get back to, that was Pelosi that I was started out with there. Just a second here. So she's out quoting the deaths, and she's out quoting that and selling the fear of health care and the Affordable Care Act, and we have more tests than death. Has anybody seen a recovery report around here? And why haven't we heard any quotes on the stats from the CDC? See, we're flipping and we're flopping, folks. Out of all the press conferences, I rarely see Dr. Fauci or Dr. Birx. And it looks like there's been a shift. Is there a person by the name of Christopher Ray or Mr. Ray, Dr. Ray? Because I'm not seeing the other two. And they're quite, it seems, yeah, it's not, those press conferences are clearly, the contention is just really bad in those. It's hard to know who's who. Shout out to everybody in the stream. Shout out to the rapper who says the problem is that the Black community keeps on falling for this nonsense by MSM. He says the U.S. Constitution is strong. I cannot convince normies that the CDC lied about the numbers. Good luck with that one. So yeah, I think there's a different. The thing is this whole medical situation. Is that we go from one extreme to another. 1 minute we're headed towards global health governance, and the next minute we're just dealing with, I don't know, incompetence. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, but even I can flip and flop. I can flip and flop without all the bureaucracy. And see, to think about, you get all this information and it's just piling on. It's just piling on. You get, what was it, Larry Kudlow, and you get economic reports. Those reports seem to are more thorough than these reports from CDC or whomever, that new person, because there is a new person on the scene. But I'm just thinking that it's been such a mess that nobody really wants to associate themselves. I don't think anybody wants to go on record. They don't really want to go on record based on the way things have gone. Shout out to everybody in the stream. Oh, okay, I got it wrong. Is it? It's Scott Atlas. Scott Atlas has been on the scene during these press conferences. He's been on the scene, and it's just kind of staggering. It's kind of staggering that I don't think there's any. I do believe maybe it was, now fact check me on this if you want. I think Benjamin Franklin made notion of that there needing to be some type of provision in the Constitution to avoid medical tyranny. Because what is it? The quote from James Madison: "If men were angels, you wouldn't need government, right?" But look at our government. Are you confident in what they're doing or what they've done? We got a rogue Congress. Shout out to everybody in the stream. Hope you guys are doing well. So I'm going to keep going here. Believe me, I'm going somewhere. All right. So, and Pelosi gets up and, oh, the science. Okay, which scientist are you quoting? Which scientist? And why haven't the scientists come forward? This country's full of scientists. And you want to know why? Because I believe it's the same scientists that talk about the same scientists that are running the roost on this. I think they're they're the same caliber of scientists that they don't really completely cite when it comes to the talk on climate change. From what I understand, they have less than 40% of scientists that actually agree with climate change. So why is people feel so scientific telling other people that they're not science? They don't believe in the science. It's like, oh, you sound so scientific telling me that I don't follow science. I think washing your hands, that's not really science. That's basic, right? Wash your hands before you eat. Wash your hands after using the restroom. Wash your hands before you prepare food. Wash your hands before touching your face. It's like just basic things. Is that science or is that hygiene? And then when you talk about science, aren't we anti-science when we quarantine the healthy and not the sick? They've gone against everything that they've learned. So has science been transformed? I mean, this is coming from somebody that's not scientific enough, apparently. I'll give you a scientific word salad. All right, so we're going to keep going. And then, of course, Pelosi decides to go into, she starts to mention Breonna Taylor. And as if Nancy Pelosi cares, a sub-zero crap about Breonna Taylor and the Black community. Oh, we're fighting. This is seriously. And then she figures out a way to cite George Floyd and talks about, oh, there's legislation to make the policing better in the HEROES Act. We're going to need more money. Where did I hear that from? I believe it was Thelma and Louise. Right after they Shout out to everybody in the stream. I really appreciate you guys and all of your patience. Shout out to the rapper. The rapper. This is okay. Here's this. Rapper says nobody can make you get vaccinated. Establishment politics versus non-establishment people like Trump. I think Democrats think certain people don't know basic health habits not to get sick. I mean, they are so those people come straight ahead at this point because they totally rail him about people coming to his rallies, but they've had people protesting since May. And you tell me that doesn't smell like bias. And I did something earlier today on the peaceful transfer of power. Can you guarantee? Can you guarantee? Like, I just think, I think I would have had to. At one point, it seemed like they had become a little bit more tame. Now, I will say, Kayleigh McEnany, she has tamed them. I think she either, puts them back in their places or they actually learn something. And they have been behaving quite differently for her. And it seemed as if they were behaving differently towards Trump. But lately, just like the people in the streets and the peaceful protesters are radicalized. What is it that AOC said? Let this moment radicalize you. Well, she included the media in that. She wants the media to be radicalized. Let this moment radicalize you, media. Even as if you haven't been radical. Shout out to the rapper who says the worst thing is that I think Democrats want a war and are using the black community to push. Yes, they are. This is why the riots are happening, to cover their scandals. These are, they are, and I think it's the distraction that they want. Okay, don't look at me. We gotta tell these people to go out here. But I'm just saying, I'm getting a little bit. I think a lot of people are getting a little bit squirrely because they're not seeing what's the actual status of the Durham report. And I mean, how many reports do we need? We need in what is it? We need more indictments. We don't need. I mean, how many reports have come out already, and that there's been nothing for? I'm sick of the lip service. I'm sick of the riots. I'm sick of the protesters. I'm sick of the gaslighting. I'm sick of all of the fakeness. And what they do is they come out and say a few words that sting, and then they run back into their caves. Because, I'm going to tell you, there was one point where you didn't hear a peep out of any politician. There was one point you did not. The only person that was speaking out about these riots and all these things was Trump months ago. From May, I swear, throughout most of the summer, you didn't hear anything. You did not. It was only just before the acceptance of the nomination that you started to see these politicians come out of their grounds, their little from underground. It's like they go underground, and to me, they were complicit with it. They went underground. But the concern is for me, what else are we going to learn? What else are we going to learn before this is over with? I mean, we're 40 days. We're in a 40-day period. 40 days. And the rapper says too many fake reports came out to lie about Trump. The scandals are on the Democrats' hands. Hunter Biden just hanged Joe Biden's career. But see, that's what I'm saying. You had that whole Ukraine thing, and it just went away like smoke quickly. It went quiet. It went dark. And So I'm just thinking, he should have not even been eligible. How was he, if he was under any form of investigation or anybody in his family, why was he even eligible? Shout out to Old Head Dudes. Thank you so much for coming in. We'll try to make this not too painful, but we always have a good time around here. I appreciate you guys so much. Shout out to you. Yeah, I'm going to tell you, this whole Breonna Taylor thing is, I, 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 I see no accountability. I see no accountability for, because I'm just going to say, you you can go down the tier all you want, but it starts with you. We are responsible for our own actions. We are responsible for our entanglements. We are responsible for what we do. We make choices, and choices bring us to the points in which we land. I don't know this girl. I didn't know her. Is it bad? Is it sad? Well, it's all, death has always been sad. And I don't talk to me about deserve. I'm not the bearer of who, I'm not the one who gets to decide what's deserved. Do we always get what we deserve? Do we ever really get what we deserve? But I'm not the one that makes those decisions. But I do know that if I make a bad choice, it's going to be more about, it's going to be, those consequences are not going to change. The possibilities, it's not going to have a whole lot, what I deserve and what actually happens to me. It's two different things. So that's not even, when people say that, when they say here, when they move the goalpost, when you give them the truth and they move the goalpost somewhere else, it still doesn't change. It still doesn't change that person made a choice that they should not have made, or they didn't make a good choice. If you play with fire, if a child plays with fire or plays with a match and he gets burned, does that mean, or does it mean that he deserved to be burned? But you were playing. He was playing. This was not a child. There's a thing called risk. And some people said nothing ventured, nothing gained. If you gamble, the risk is that you could lose. There is a risk. We take a risk every single day. If somebody goes out here and they're just going to the store and they get into a car accident, did they deserve to die in that? Did they deserve to die in that one trip on the vehicle? My biggest takeaway is, I'm going a little bit philosophical, and I typically don't do this, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to tell you, I know what it's like. We all want to be around somebody, and we all want to feel like we're building a nest or being in love with somebody. But sometimes you can be manipulated in the name of love. I mean, I don't know that situation. I don't know those guys. I don't know the guy involved, but I have known people that they'll go out here and one day they'll run into somebody that tells them, "Oh, well, I just need you to do this for me." And the next thing you know, you want to keep that. There's something about somebody needing you or wanting you, and it doesn't even matter. Sometimes it doesn't even matter what type of need. You just want somebody to need you. You just want somebody to want you around. And if that means it's a little bit illicit, you get lured into it. I don't know if that's, we all want to sometimes I'm just saying, I'm not saying everyone, but sometimes we want to put our suitcase down somewhere. We want to put our suitcase down. Shout out to Felicia Lockhart from the Felicia Lockhart Show. But yeah, I'm just I've known it, and I'm gonna tell you that. See, this is going philosophical. It's not even a rant, but what I'm saying is, some people just have to be with somebody, even if it's not the good somebody. They just want somebody, and I call that desperation. And I'm gonna tell you something. You can get in a hell of a lot of trouble when you get a little too desperate. You start doing things that you wouldn't normally do. You start accepting things you wouldn't normally accept. I mean, I'm not saying that's everybody, but I'm telling you. And we're living these are some wicked times. Shout out to the Lockhart perspective. I mean the Felicia Lockhart Show. You guys get to know each other around here. But I'm just telling you, I'm saying, I've been around a crumb bug guy. I'm not saying it was that kind of a crumb bug guy, but I've been around a crumb bug guy. But it was at that time you did what you needed to do. You did what you needed to do at that time. And sometimes the people, the guy doesn't care about you, but you're just around. That's what you needed at that moment, at that time. That's what you needed. That person's a placeholder. They're a warm body. I don't know. I'm not even going to say that you were on the rebound, but I'm just saying you wanted somebody. You wanted somebody at that time to need you or to want you or I think that's it's a human attribute. It's a human quality to want to be wanted, to want to be needed. I'll even go all the way back home. When you're growing up, no matter what your family situation is, sometimes it could be from a lot of times, somebody once told me that we are who we are because of those relationships that we've had at home, whether it was with mom or dad or whomever. And sometimes you might not have felt needed, and sometimes you might not have felt wanted. But I'm going to tell you something else. It doesn't necessarily you can't click your heels at 20, 21, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25. You can't click your heels and it goes away. Certain things set up. My bottom line is, the baseline here is that it doesn't necessarily go away. That those bars that are set for us, and that insecurity that's set up for us is set up. It could be a parent leaving. It could be a mom walking out the door. And that sets up an insecurity, because even as a kid, you might not have understood. Your mom might have left, or your dad might have left because she couldn't handle, or he couldn't handle your mom. But you don't understand it. That person he couldn't handle her, or she couldn't handle him. They didn't necessarily leave you, but they left them. But do you understand that? Do you have the capacity to understand that as a child? But we take those things into our grown-up life. And those are and we have relationships. It makes perfect sense to me. And I'm going to tell you, insecurity is a real piece of work. But that's something that we have to work on individually. Working on yourself. And the only thing, working on yourself, it's a good thing. But the thing about working on yourself is that you'll find out after you worked on yourself, and sometimes you get frustrated with working on yourself, because then you look back at all the people that you know or that you knew, and you realize, well, hey, I'm growing. Why aren't these people moving? They're still in the same place. I'm not getting along with these people as much anymore. I don't have that much in common with these people. These people are frustrating me. Things that used to be all right, they're not all right anymore. Why does it feel like I'm talking about wearing a mask? Shout out to everybody in the stream. Shout out to Charles Gilmore the third. But I mean, and here I am going on a tangent, but I'm saying something. But I'm saying, you were depending on those people for a while, and it's just like same thing with these masks. You need those masks were doing something for you. You don't know what they were doing for you, but it seemed like you needed them. You needed them, and then one day you get in. But then one day you start to detach. Not only you detach it from you detach it. You want to detach. You looking to detach not from the mask. You're looking to detach from the people. Like, wait a minute, why are there so many people in this parking lot? One day it's not the line that you're annoyed by. The parking lot is packed, and the people are bothering you now more than the damn mask. I'm sorry, folks. Shout out. I'm telling you, it's like we're being institutionalized. What was it like? But I'm telling you, like I'm saying, this is a good time to journal and to write these things down, because somewhere along the lines, what do they call it? The script starts to get flipped. Wait a minute now. How is it that these people are bothering me more than this mask? Why? I need this mask, but I don't need these people. I need these essential workers, but I don't need these people in this parking lot. And I would rather have less people to deal with. The social distancing works, my friends. It literally works. All I'm saying all that to say is there's a bigger end game here. I think this is doing a social conditioning number on people. I was like, I'm telling you, I should have started. I should have started my journal already. I might better start it before I go into the next phase. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody on the stream. I appreciate you guys for coming in here. Because I wasn't sure I was going to do this, but I don't know. There's something about after hours, But yeah, but I'm saying, but I said all that to say that when you grow, for better or for worse, you start to you don't your connections aren't quite the same. Your connections aren't quite the same. You're growing. The people that are not working on themselves, they're not going anywhere. They're still doing the same things they always do. And you get annoyed. And that could be family, it could be friends, it could be coworkers. And before you know it, you need more space. So shout out to everybody in the stream. But I was going somewhere, but I'm on some kind of a roll, but who knows? Try not to roll off the wrong way. But yeah, so but yeah, the title of this it started out, what is happening in this nation? What is happening? What's happening in this place? We're going through a transformation. Going through a transformation. Now, I'm going to say this. Charles Gilmore, how are you doing? I just want to say this now to Charles Gilmore. He says, I say peace. I say leave people in peace. Don't disturb my peace. It's hard to find people who have the same objectives as you. You're right. And so now, okay, now I'm going back to why am I talking about relationships and men and da 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 da. Yeah, I didn't mean to take you guys down this road. But the thing about it is, this is the thing. At this point in life, I think peace is more important. I think that peace is more important at this time. I don't know. I just think it is. Because some people, I was talking earlier about people just want somebody. They just want somebody, anybody. I got to be with somebody all the time. It don't even matter. But I think peace is more important, because dealing with two people, I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm getting some kind of wisdom or whatnot. What is it, every 6 months or 9 months or something, you just kind of you get some level of clarity or like. But the thing is, I just say, simply, I can't make the same mistakes that I made at 21 or 25. That, no, I can't. I'm not going to run headfirst into anything anymore, especially when I know what the outcome is. I'm not doing it. And that was my main takeaway. Don't do it. I mean, yeah. And then it's like, the other thing is, I noticed, and why, like, this is not a relationship show. How did I get here? But the thing about it is that sometimes I find that people want to get into relationships because they're trying to solve something else. They're trying to solve something else. And I'm not, and this is not to take away or to talk down to anybody, but my thing is, during these times, okay, so if a guy says, okay, yeah, well, I really would like to get to know you and da 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 da, and he says, I lost my job. Oh, okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Do you think this is the right time for you to be getting involved with anybody? I don't care whether you think. I'm telling you, it's not with me. I'm just saying, not with me. We're all, I will say, I think we're all going through something by now. If we weren't, we are. If you're not, you will be. As my dad would say, my dad used to say, if you keep on living, is what he said. If you keep on living, if you stay here, as long as you stay here, you're going to go through something. Keep staying here. Keep living. So but I'm telling you, I'm not going out here and getting into things that are not, no. And some people just really want to, it's really not even about you. It's not about it's not about mutual love and respect and all these things. It's more about them. And you'll find out quickly. You'll find out quickly. So yeah, I'm sorry to go into these relationship things, guys. Shout out to everybody in the stream. But yeah, I mean, yeah, but I'm just saying, everything is just wonky and ay. I mean, yeah, wonky, and I'll save my other spiel for later. So let's see, I have a couple of things for you guys. I would never leave you without some interactions. I would never leave you without some imagery, and always build up the imagery for you. Shout out to everybody in the stream. Shout out to Charles Gilmore. Shout out to the Lockhart Perspective. Shout out to Old Head Deuce. I appreciate the positivity, Old Head Deuce. Shout out to the Rapper 10,000. Shout out to Charles Gilmore III. Shout out to the Felicia Lockhart Show. Who else do we have around at these hours? Okay, I appreciate it. All right, so let me read this comment from the Lockhart Perspective. She says, sometimes I just like to be left alone. I don't necessarily have to have somebody right around me all the time. And the older I get, the more I see, I'm like, yeah, like you're still nice. Yeah, yeah, I mean, we've all been down a different road. We've been down some freshly paved roads, and we've been we've hit that shoulder and hit that pothole that almost took the frame out. And it's after a while, you don't get, I mean, you just get tired. I mean, it's just like, I'm not, I'm doing these dating sites and dating apps, and you can be anybody you want to be on those things. People have just become more creative with lies. They and some people might, in their minds, it's not a lie. It's not a lie because the worst didn't happen. Okay. I'm just saying. I'm just saying this is not. Is it new speak that I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know if it is. I'm just saying that it's just not. See, the rapper says South Park is coming back next week. I'm saying hold the jewel in your heart. I appreciate it. Let's see. Charles Gilmore says GOTOW is about men who don't want relationships due to pain and abuse in their opinion for women, right or wrong. Well, I'm just going to say this when I say this. I mean, honestly, this is the kind of, to be honest, I'm just putting this out here for a second. I always wanted my dad, like, Dad, please teach me everything you know. Teach me. You may not be able to teach me everything you know. I can never play football or run as fast as you, but maybe you could teach me how to change my own tire because, you know, some of these guys will call, AAA faster than me. They will. They will. Or what is it? Fix a flat or something? I mean, I just never wanted to be the damsel in distress. I mean, I never wanted to be. the Lockhart perspective. But seriously, these effeminate people that are just so effeminate, I'm like, your nails look better than mine. If I don't care about my nails, your nails will survive, right? Why are you calling these people? I may as well stand out here until somebody comes along to fix this thing. I don't know. I guess this is with the times or whatever. Whatever. Oh gosh. But yeah, I'm telling you the truth. I mean, like I said, I want to be able to do things for myself because you just never know what you have to do, and you don't know what you need to do until you need to do it, and then it's too late. Even fix a flat is going to be too much for me. Or checking the oil. Check your own oil. The Lockhart perspectives, girl. We need to talk because this topic right here needs to be two chicks talking about this because these guys. Oh my gosh. But there's been these people are hell bent on effeminating these men, and they're just buying it hook and sinker, and I've never seen it. I mean, I could name somebody specifically that I saw, and I thought it was a woman. I really did. I thought it was a nanny, and it was the woman's husband. I really did because he had, they've gone from the man bun to the half up, half down. And I really didn't, I just didn't know. I mean, I would have been hella embarrassed if I had, run into these people in the public. I would have been. Somebody I hadn't seen in a long time. But, yeah, the guy's hair had grown out. Wait a minute. Whatever, do what you want, but this is hard. That's a transition. I remember some of those movies. Yeah, and guys, I'm told this is a total digression, so please accept my digression because I'm going to go back to go back to the lovely politics and whatnot. But what was it? Some of those movies that say, I don't want to. Let's see, what was it? I think it was Maya. She was like, I can't stand a man who thinks he looks better than me. That was a part of her lyric in there, and I didn't understand what the heck is she talking about. But it was, his hair. If his hair is, if he's worried more about his hair than you are, then things get to be awkward. You just get awkward, you know. So, I don't know. Maybe that Soul Glow scene back in Coming to America was maybe that was a warning of effemination, nation, effemination. This is what happens after hours, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologize. Shout out to Cold War Jesus. Thanks so much for coming in. He says, way too much tofu in the world today. And the rapper says, blame the 1960s and feminism for the emasculation of men. And also even the gays are fed up with the soy boys. Well, but look, you're taking it to another level even right now. They're doing things. And I'm going to say this is specifically going on in the Black community. I mean, I'm not into celebrities. I just don't deal with, I can't idolize these people because they are not, I cannot do that. I will not do that. But when you look at some of them, it's like, you're really, I don't know what you're trying to achieve, but, you're dyeing your hair and a whole lot. And I'll tell you now, here it is. Here's the ticker. Now I'll tell you my earliest example when I can think of a man that I wasn't just quite sure what was going on with him, and I don't know today what he looks like. I think maybe he's mellowed out a bit. But what was it, Dennis Rodman? I mean, that guy would have earrings and he would have hair dye. And he had all these things going on. I'm just thinking, not sure what's going on there. But I would not show up with this guy. I just wouldn't. I mean, it's just too many things going on because you got to find a focal point, get with your stylist or something. You're doing too many things. You got a body full of art. You got earrings and you've got flamboyant hats and you've got your hair dyed, and it's just, I mean, I guess it's the price of fame, right? All right, guys, enough. And when I go to Dennis Rodman, it's time to move on. All right, appreciate you guys so much. Shout out to everybody in the stream. I really appreciate using the wedding. I forgot about that one. Shout out to you guys. Right, so let's do this. We got a couple of things here. Just a couple of things. So what we're going to talk about, we're going to go away from some of the political. Well, we'll go into a couple of things that are going on. I have a clip for you, and apparently this is going to come from. We have an American arrested for singing some hymn or whatever. So we're going to play this, and I will be following up on this story. You see what I was telling you guys? We're going through a transformation right now. Whether you want it by hook, as my grandma would say, by hook or crook, we're being transformed. I'm telling you, they are taking this place into a secular. That's what they want. They've already eliminated God from many things, and they're going to keep eliminating things. All right. So this is going to put this on for you, and then we'll move on to the next bus stop. Shout out to everybody in the stream. You guys are doing well. Thanks so much for taking care of the channelytics. And I really appreciate you guys on these after hours. I'm telling you, I think I do my best. Mind dump after hours, Of course, censorship and everything's ramped up around here. I do believe, who was it that was informing me? The rapper. They're planning on what? Are they losing? Did you say they're losing the 230, or that's going away? Or let's go right on over here to the screen share. I appreciate you guys so much for coming in. I apologize for the digression on the relationships and the growth and all these things, but every now and then you just have to see what you see, say what you see, what you see, and call it out, call it the way you see it. All right, so we're going to go on over to quote, arrested for singing hymns in America, and then we'll take you on to another story, and have a little bit of things coming out of the NFL. But shout out to everybody in the stream. Let's go. Thanks so much for coming in.
Always trust in chariots, and others trust in horses. But we recall the Lord our God, strong past our own resources. Our enemies have fallen low, but we are held and upright. So save us, Lord our God, and King, as we in trouble call thee, as we in trouble call thee.
How you doing, Gabe? I'm doing great. Yeah, man. I'm doing great. Over this drill car here. Didn't see this happen for BLM, Gabe. It's unbelievable. Isn't that weird?
Hey, just give us a little space, please.
Yeah, just give us a little space. Got it.
You guys should not be doing this and doing this kind of crap for the mayor. This is
Always trust in chariots, and others trust in horses. But we
Shout out to everybody in the stream. Hope you guys are doing well. Appreciate it. Lockhart perspective. I do believe it seems to be a bit of a like a right. I agree very much. Lovely. I believe it's a like a protection. It's a clause. I believe that 230 section. I need to do a little bit more research, but I've heard some of the larger YouTubers. I'm a little bit small potatoes around here. I run my own, square whatever device, small beans. But I'm not a six figure subscriber influence around here. Yeah, so but I will do some research on it and see because I didn't get the notification from YouTube. I don't know what that is about, and but I think the people that have these large channels, large channels are monetized. They're really putting the kibosh on things. So let's see, I have another, and if you guys may have heard of this particular story that's coming up next. This particular story comes up, and we have a mother was arrested for not wearing her mask at a game. Hope you guys are doing well out there. She was tased, everything. Okay, so we're gonna go to that. Give me two shakes, and we'll be there. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody in the stream. I really appreciate you for all you do. We're gonna be rolling that for you. He said large channels are too extra. Nice. Okay, so let's get over here. Appreciate you guys. I am.
And put your hand behind your back. I will not put my hand behind my back. I'm not friendly doing nothing wrong. Get off of me! What's wrong with you? Oh my God! Get off of me! You're not arresting me for nothing. I am doing nothing wrong. What's wrong with you people?
This is over a mask.
Oh my God! You're not arresting me for not doing nothing wrong.
It's not.
I am leaving. You're not arresting me for not doing nothing wrong. Stop it! Let go of my wrist! Oh my Oh my God!
I don't know. I don't think he can arrest her for not wearing a mask. This is not a warning. Call the cops, Raven.
Call the cops?
Yeah.
Will you talk to them?
I don't know if he's a real officer.
It says police on the side and on his back.
I don't need anything. But he may be, Bridget, because there's a cop car over there. There's a cop car over there.
Do you want to call him?
Tase somebody over a mask. Tasing this lady over not wearing a damn mask.
Come on, that's just so fast. And I'm going to sue you for knocking me down. I'm going to. Get my kids and let's go.
Arresting her for a mask, not wearing a
Hey,
mask,
where's
and he
your
ain't even
mask?
got one on.
Right.
Hey, where's your mask?
Remember, we're second together now, right, guys? We've done this how many times together? How many times?
Oh, here comes another
Over a mask.
random cop right there.
That's some bullshit. Say he won't have a job, right?
Yeah, you can't arrest somebody for not wearing a mask.
Yeah, she didn't have hers on.
Yeah, well, I got that. So.
You get that?
Yep, I did. Both of them not wearing a mask. Meh. Hope you guys are doing well out there. the Lockhart perspective. So it's time for some to get rearranged. Yeah, I really, it's more than disheartening to see these things. Some people literally cannot breathe with these things on. Some people have, natural deformities. Good night. The rapper 10,000. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for coming in. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You guys are the absolute best around here. I really appreciate it. But yes, it's hard to say. It's hard to see people, don't handle them. I just want to say, I think rather than stand by, I would have wanted to kind of walk up and say, is this really necessary? Like, why do you have to handle her like that? It's not necessary. I mean, really, they're not taking people to jail. People are going to jail for less things. They're not going to jail for much bigger things. The Lockhart perspective. I'm about to cuss, so I gotta go to bed. Right, right. Yeah, but then he tased the woman. I swear, I mean, she should sue them. I mean, but seriously, this has got to be a hell of a virus. You go to a restaurant, they want you to, you know, take it off. You want your 6 feet from the door, but once you sit down, it magically goes away. But you can't sit outside more than 6 feet away from people without it. I mean, I'm just saying, it's got to be a sophisticated. This has got to be the most. It's got to be artificial intelligence we're dealing with. It's got to be. Shout out to everybody in the stream. I really appreciate you guys. We're probably going to wrap up here in a few minutes. Lockhart Perspective says mental virus. I really, really appreciate you guys for coming in because really I didn't expect this. You guys always turn out. You guys always turn out for the best or for the worst, and you had to hear me talk about. You had to hear me talk about Fix a Flat. I really appreciate that. I really do. It makes a difference that you were able to go through that. But yes, I think that's pretty much. I think that's about all I had for the evening, or either maybe I had one more story, and then that'll wrap us up. That will wrap us up indeed. Let's see. I think I had something about from one of the Marcus Wiley. He came out not too long ago against BLM and whatnot. So maybe we will do that one, and then we'll. This is actually going to be from Herschel Walker, and then we're going to get out of here. All right, guys. So let's go with this. We're going to go with a little football in your life. I don't know if you watch football, but somehow politics and everything have just come full circle with everything. Okay, we're going through a transformation, believe it or not. Okay, so here we are. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and this is going to wrap out our segment here. Shout out to Taryn Herring. Thank you so much. So we're going to go on over to this is Martha from CFR Fox News. Okay, let's go on over.
And the ratings, not so good. 8 million fewer people tuned in. And the ratings, the NFL is in the books. And the ratings, not so good. 8 million fewer people tuned in to the league's nationally televised games this weekend. It's a drop close to 10% from 2019, 86 million to 88 million. So while the matchups may have been part of what happened there, themes of racial injustice replaced most fans in the stadium. And in one city where fans were allowed into the stadium, Kansas City, this is what happened during the moment of unity. Some booing in the small crowd there that you can hear. Here now, Herschel Walker, former NFL player and Heisman Trophy winner. Herschel, great to have you on tonight. Thank you for being here. So what goes through your mind as you listen to those boos and you see both of those teams standing with their arms linked on the field?
Well, first of all, it's great unity. But as I said early on, there shouldn't be politics in sports. But since the commissioner sort of gave in and decided to let politics come into sports, I don't think the team, the league, the owner, the commissioner has decided, what do you want? You're going to protest, but you're not putting out what is the solution, what's the end game. And if the players do have a right to protest, but they must realize that fans have a right to protest as well. So if they boo, you can't be upset. If they don't watch the show, you can't be upset.
So this is a poem video that was made by the Miami Dolphins. This is just about 18 seconds of it, but this is their description of why they were staying in the locker room during our nation's anthem.
And you fight for prison reform and innocent lives.
And you repair the communities that were tossed to the side.
And you admit you gained from it and you swallowed your pride.
And when greed is not the compass, but love is the guide.
And when the courts don't punish skin color, but punish the crime.
Until then, we'll just skip the long production and stay inside.
We'll stay inside. What's your reaction, sir?
Well, those are beautiful words, a beautiful film commercial, but what is the end game? You know, you're going to stay inside, but what is
I just had to say for myself, you know, is that what they call poetic justice? You know, let me get back to the script. You know, you guys remember the movie Poetic Justice? I'm just saying. Sorry, I'll get back to the scene.
the end game? What do you want? How are you going to achieve this? Because all I see is protesting, all I see is words, but there's no actions behind those words. And I said it early on, instead of everybody having their folded arms or closed fists, why don't we have an open hand? We all come together, and I love to go with you. The NFL, all major league sports, let's go to Washington. Let's get the Democratic, let's get the Republican people together, because that's the reason we're in this point right here, because they don't seem to want to get together. Because with Tim Scott bill that he wanted to offer on the police reform, because remember, he mentioned that in the commercial. Well, he wanted to do a police reform, but the Democrat didn't want to meet about it. So that's what we need to do, is let's go make those groups get together and let's meet about some of these things.
All right, now see, there you go. You get to hear it from the professionals, you know, your sports friends. Shout out to everybody in the stream. But yeah, you know, it was a little poetic justice or whatnot. I don't know what the hell anybody's doing anymore. But, you know, but I will say I have to, I have to concur there with Mr. Walker there. I mean, you know, if you have an objective, please stand up with your objective in hand. Because, you know, making all these, you know, documentaries and things, I can't deal. You know, I'm not an NFL fan anyway, but we used to see, they used to show men in the locker rooms when, you know, or degree commercials or something with the men, but now they're all on their knees where, you know, they got to put the towel down. They can't get those knees dirty, and making documentaries right now. It's just, you see the transformation, ladies and gentlemen. These people, they're not getting on their knees at anybody's church, but they're getting on their knees with towels and everything. Not in a putting towels down and on the floor, on the NBA floor, hardwood floors, and kneeling everywhere. But I tell you, it's a little wonky, right? Bizarre land. Shout out to everybody in the stream. The Lockhart Perspective. Thank you so much for being here. Lockhart Perspective. This grown ass man sounded like a Dr. Pepper commercial. It's the sweet one. Oh my God, amazing. But you know what? Now, see, here I am I'm going into cultural things here. Now, it seems like the last time I heard, not even the Colin Kaepernick was impressed with what's going on. He's not impressed. He is not impressed. I guess because they're getting more attention than him now, right? He's not on the field. He's complaining about it. You know, there's nowhere else he'd rather be than not on the field, complaining about not being on the field. I don't know. So shout out to Old Head Deuce. And shout out to anybody that's following me over on Periscope. Wait a minute, he started this barbecue. All right. Shout out to everybody in the stream. I appreciate everyone. And let's see. What else do we have? This is going to wrap us up, guys. I'm going to give a final shout out. Shout out to the loyal patrons, Derek C. Williams, Killer Whale Channels, The Definition of Anarchy, Chrysler Imperial H, Little Miss Goth, Let the Truth Be Told, Cold War Jesus, and AZ Infidel. Shout out to Old Head Deuce, Felicia Lockhart Show, Charles Gilmore III, the rapper 10,000. Even if you're gone, I'm giving you, just saying shout out to you guys. And so yeah, it's time to put it to bed. And shout out to the Lockhart Perspective. I appreciate everyone. So we'll see. You know, these kind of late live streams. Shout out to Cold War Jesus. I'll do a couple of comments and then we'll go. Cold War Jesus says they have polluted sports, so I quit watching. They've squeezed the life out of everything, including razor blades. So yeah, who knows? I'll be around, but I will tell you, I'm going to make some changes. I'm going to make some changes to the schedule coming up. I'll probably make an official announcement, but what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to go down to 1 day on the streams, but it will be an extensive stream, so it's going to be pretty loaded, and I'll probably designate some time for you guys for anybody that wants to chime in. You know, it might be nice to have some call-ins at some point, but you know, we'll see. Not everybody wants their face on the screen or their avatar on the screen. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, I think we'll make those changes. And I mean, there's just honestly, even with a fishnet, you can't catch all these crazy stories. But of course, you know, the videos will continue. But I'm just thinking that it'll be a little bit more, you know, economical if I do 1 day a week, because you know it's work coming on here. It's totally worth it, but I'm gonna change it up and see how that goes. Accommodate some other things, but Lockhart Perspectives. I don't want my avatar on the screen. I just don't know how to do. Okay, well, we'll help you with that. You'll just hit that when you do stop the camera. Stop camera or something like that is what you hit, and then it'll just slash the camera and it'll put your avatar on. But I appreciate everyone, so you guys have a great night, and who knows, we'll see the weekend, who knows what might happen. But that's what I'm saying, even though I'm going to go down to 1 day for a block, it'll be a block of time, at least 2 hours. But the random streams, those are going to be around. But at least that 1 day I can, you know, get a lot in, and yeah, I think 1 day works better for many reasons. So Lockhart Perspective, you can forget about seeing my face. Yeah, you just hit when you go in. It's just hit that hit the camera. It'll take you out. It'll put your avatar right up. So you know that'll do it. So I appreciate you guys so much for coming in. Thank you guys so much for all that you do, and have a great start to your weekend and your Friday mornings. Before you know it, it's time for the mainstream news to come out. So I appreciate it. You guys have a great rest of the night.